by the youngster today. We're looking back now at the Dublin round 2 of the UCI Cyclocross World Cup, and it was a great start by Michael Vanthourenhout himself too. Turnart's looking good all the time, making the most of his opportunity, and then this big crash started by Michael Boros, the Czech rider who couldn't even find his bike. I think he was looking for first of all his bike and then the rest of his kit, and then it continued to roll. Thibaut Ney's down as well, involved in that crash, and I think Curtis White was also involved in the crash there too, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, out front, Michael Vanthourenhout was coping with a broken shoe. This was the point at which he changed it, his left-hand shoe, did it up as he got going again, lost 2 or 3 places in doing so, but found his way back into a leading group that had Turnart's Elisabeth, Pim Ronhaar, Joran Weissura and others, as the leading group at one point was 10 to 12 riders big. It was gradually being whittled down and getting smaller and smaller as the race went on. Elisabeth looked comfortable, but was avoiding the front seemingly throughout the race, and Felipe Orts hanging in comfortably too. Thibaut Ney would persist in the race, but then pulled out as well. He does thankfully seem to be uninjured. We'll wait to hear maybe some after news about that one, but thankfully up and riding again. All the way through the race, Turnart's looked particularly strong and was testing that group to see how much he could reduce it. Lauren Swake had told us he was going to play a waiting game in this race and back off a bit. In the end, he didn't quite ever get back in touch with the leading group, although he came very close to doing so. Then, in the last 3 laps, it was Elisabeth who started pressing on, again, kicking hard out of corners to see if he could put the pressure enough on the others. Of course, he had a teammate in there, though, and Michael Vanthourenhout, who was also playing a fairly cagey game until it came to his opportunity to press on. They could play the numbers game, the Bingo Pal Salzen boys. And coming over the planks for the final time, thankfully everyone clear. It was Lars van der Haar who was closing up, though, the Dutchman, teammate of Pim Ronhaar, of course, who was getting closer and closer to that leading group. Could he latch on? In the end, on the final lap, a little problem for Elisabeth would just slow his pressing pace at the front end and allow his own teammate, Michael Vanthourenhout, to just sneak away in the way that he does, just gradually pressing on and applying the pressure. It was enough pressure to take the win. He entered the road section with a lead over a sprinting Turnart's, took the win, and with it took over the lead of the Cup leader. And confirmation, exactly as you say it. There's the results for today. We'll get the World Cup leaders' overall standings in just a moment. Michael Vanthourenhout taking the win from Turnart's and Felipe Orts. Last week's winner, round 1 winner, Elisabeth, in 4th as well. Another great ride by Joran Weissura sees him in 5th place in the overall standings, but Michael Vanthourenhout takes over with 65 points. He will be the Cyclocross World Cup leader going into Cabras in Sardinia. Italy, of course, but on the island of Sardinia for that unusual round. Another one of our outliers, but a fantastic different cyclocross race